Welcome to the training this evening. We're excited to get started. This is a training for the high school program, and it's in preparation for our team match that's going to come up in February. We have 4 dances we'll be focusing on tonight, and the new dances we'll be doing first. So International Waltz is this particular one. So you're joining us for International Waltz, and this is a bronze style International Waltz. Okay, so we're excited to get to go through this with you. You may already know this routine before, I don't know, but if not, I'm going to walk you through it, and I'm going to do some kind of teaching methods along the way. However, we literally have, hello, welcome, come on in. Perfect timing, we're just starting. So we're going to go ahead and, where am I at? So we're going to go ahead and do some teaching methods along the way, but it's only a 30-minute time block, so we've got to make it quickly, okay? So here's what we're going to do. If you have shoes you want to throw on or anything.
So I'm still super sick.
Okay.
I'm going to watch, and baby's going to...
Very good.
Assistant baby. So I'll probably stand up, but if I start feeling... I'm pregnant. And I have 90, so I don't want that.
Okay, so Lexi, would you rather sit in this chair, or would you rather get you just one of these chairs to sit right here? Do you want a hard chair, or do you want a soft chair?
I'll just sit on a hard chair.
Okay. I've got this. Here we go for you. Perfect.
So much. Sorry.
You do what you can. You're great. Okay. So the first thing that I do, especially when my students haven't done International Waltz before, is I feel like I have to start with alignments, because if they don't know what direction to face, me telling them about what to do with their feet is not going to make sense for them, right? So we will begin with alignments. Hello. So I want you all to stand on this side of the floor with me if you would, and I'm going to get in front so I can face the camera. But we're going to go through 8 alignments very, very quickly. The very first one, well, the first thing I need to say is international style ballroom waltz is going to be structured in a rectangular shape, right? We've got a long side of the floor, short side, long side, short side. So we've got to realize we're not dancing in a circle, we're dancing in a rectangular sized room. So the first thing I want you to do is face the line of dance, and it's straight. No matter where you are, we're just on a straight line here. This is line of dance. If I turn around, this would be called against line of dance. Then if I turn outward, this would be the wall. I'm facing the wall, so that makes sense to me. If I turn to face inside, this would be center. Now I know that if I was in a circle and I'm over here, this would be center. But in ballroom, I'm on this side, so no matter where I'm at on this side, it's going to be straight into the middle, right? Whether I'm on this end or that end, we're all going in, okay? So I've got the first 4 alignments one more time. Line of dance, against line of dance, center, I tricked you, center, and wall. Okay, now everything's based off of those 4 alignments. So if I take my left foot and I go to line of dance, and my right foot to wall, and they're square, halfway in the middle, this is going to be called diagonal wall. Everything that's on a diagonal starts with the word diagonal, so I say diagonal wall. If I take one toe towards line of dance and one toe to center, we all know what that's going to be, diagonal center. I say diagonal, and then whether it's wall or center. If I turn around and go the other direction, towards against line of dance, if I did one toe to against line of dance and one toe to center, this would be same, we start the same way, diagonal center, but I have to add the words against line of dance. And then if I face diagonal wall against line of dance, you know how to figure it out. One toe, halfway in the middle, right? Now I'm super picky as a teacher, so if somebody's kind of like this, I'm like, what direction is that? It's not line of dance, and it's definitely not diagonal wall. So I've got to be exactly, right? I'm not talking about partway, I'm talking halfway in the middle, okay? So that's very clear. And then I do a quick drill with my students, like kind of the military. I go, diagonal center, go, go, diagonal center, against line of dance, go, line of dance, diagonal center against line of dance, diagonal wall. Okay, and we'll just do this, and I will see if they can get there quickly, okay? That way I know that we've all got the concept and we're ready to move on. The next thing I want to do is I want to basically go through and teach the first few steps of the routine. Not too far, not the whole routine, but the first part of the routine. We are going to begin at the top of the long side, so come on behind me, and you're all going to be men, okay? So you're all going to stand behind me. This will begin facing diagonal wall. okay? The very first step that we do in our routine is called a natural turn. It has 6 counts to it. So I'm going to walk you through the positions of the feet. We're going to step forward with our right foot for the men. We're going to step side with our toe and face the diagonal wall against line of dance. Then I'm going to close my feet together, and by the time I finish, I've got to be facing against line of dance. Yes? Now, continuing on, you would take a minute and do that a couple times with your guys. I'm going to now step back with my left foot. My toe is going to turn slightly inwards as I commence to turn. I go back with my left foot. I point my toe, my right toe to diagonal center, and then my left toe joins it. And now I'm facing diagonal center. Okay? So that's my first step. Yes? Do it without stopping. So I'm going to step forward right foot. I'm going to go forward, side, close my feet, and back, side, close my feet. Now I am going to go backwards for a second. I'm going to say, you know what, normally what I do, second, I don't necessarily teach the foot position second. Normally what I would do is teach a 6-count box. Now they probably have done waltz before in American style, and they've done a box step in the waltz. But the reason why I want to do that is I want to make sure that they understand a little bit about the rise and fall before I start, because that's a huge characteristic of waltz, right? So if I do a 6-count box, I'm going to back up for just a second. Let's all face the front. So here we go. This is guys and girls. We'll all be doing this together. I'm going to go forward, side, close, and I'm going to hold, and when I lower, the same time I lower my left foot, my right foot prepares. Then I step back and peel the toe. I go side. I close my feet together. I stay, and the same time I'm lowering, my foot is preparing. Now you notice my foot's preparing not with a heel lead, but with a toe. But as I take the step, then it goes into the heel. Okay? So let's do it with counts once. We have 1, 2, 3, hold 4, hold 5, prepare 6. 1, 2, 3, hold 4, hold 5, prepare 6. One of the things I want the students to do is make sure that they understand that in the rise and fall, I step forward and I'm starting just a little bit of rising, just a tiny bit. I keep going up, and then I keep going up some more. So I'm going up on 2 and 3. Oftentimes they're going to go down, spike, close, and they're going to try to do the rise and fall like a mountain peak, right? So I've got to make sure that they remember I commence to rise at the end of 1, I keep going up on 2, I keep going up on 3, and I lower at the end of 3. All right, does that 6-count box make sense? And I love doing that with my students, just facing each other with palm to palm, not even touching. And then the girls are going backwards, right? Because they're going to be like in the beginning, because they're borrowing balance from their partner. Pretty soon, they're like, I can't do that. And then they start to become a little bit more aware of themselves and using their ankles and their feet and their legs to stabilize things, okay? So we've done the alignments. We've done the 6-count box. Now we're moving on to the step, okay? Now, let's do the men's. Let's do the next step. So we're going to do the natural turn, and then we're going to go on from there. And actually, let me pass out to you the choreography so that you have it in your hands as well. Well, here you go. There we go. Okay. And those of you who are joining us on video, there'll be a routine for you to print, so you'll have a copy of it as well, okay? There we go. Okay, so natural turn is the first step. Now, I haven't done a preparation. I'll come back to that when it's time to go to partner. I'm just teaching them their step, okay? So let's do the natural turn one more time. Right foot's free. Ready, go. Forward, side, close, back, side, close. Now, I'm facing what direction? Diagonal center. You quiz them the whole time. Quiz them. So now from here, I'm doing a closed change. So I've just closed my feet. I'm going to go forward, side and slightly forward, and close my feet. And switch my feet again. Now we do a progressive chassé to the right. So this step is going to go forward, side together, side. And by the time I finish, I'm facing more against a diagonal center against line of dance. Okay? So do that one more time. Let's do the 2 steps together. Close change starting with the right foot. We have forward, side and slightly forward, close the feet. Now the next step, progressive chassé to the right. Forward, chassé, step. Okay? Now from here, I'm going to do an outside change to promenade. So you can see that's our 4th step. I want to keep my frame where it's at. I want to step back underneath myself as if I'm stepping on a balance beam. Okay, so I'm on the same board as the other foot. I'm going to turn my right toe inward as I rise and step side in promenade position towards diagonal wall. See, and as you say these alignments to them, which direction should I be facing? They're going to be able to connect because you did that at the beginning. Now, my left toe should really be facing wall as I'm heading there. I don't want my toe to face diagonal wall because then my hips are completely open. So to be in promenade position, my toes are facing wall. Okay? Makes sense? How are we doing so far? Good? Okay, then I'm going to go on one more thing, and that is the chassé from promenade position. So it looks like this. I step across, and I go toe, toe, toe lower, and I'm going to close the lady up to me. I don't want to be 100% towards the corner, but I definitely took my frame, and it rotated slightly. I still have a positive left side. Okay, now the footwork is the biggest thing that you're going to want to do with them. So remember, we have heel, toe, toe, toe lower. And then I collect as I come through. This is what you're going to see your students do. 1, 2, and 3. They're going to do an extra heel there unless you drill that. And you might want to drill it across the floor. Just have them do this across the floor a bazillion times, right? And so that that feels natural to them. Otherwise, they're going to do that. I promise you they will. Okay? Now, there's one more step left, and we've completed the long side for the gentleman. Okay? And that's a hesitation change. You often hear the word natural hesitation, same step, right? But in waltz, they call it a hesitation change. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pretend like we've arrived at the end of the floor. So I'm staying away from the camera a little bit so that they can at least see. But normally I would be closer to the end of the floor. I'm going to do my natural, but because I'm in a corner, I don't want to turn as much. So normally what happened in the natural turn, we turn to face against line of dance. But because I'm in the corner, I only want you to turn 1/4 of a turn, just to face the diagonal. So watch that again. I'm going 1, 2, 3. Yes? Are we okay with that? And the reason why is I want to fill up the whole turn. So I want to separate my turn so I have some at the beginning and some at the end rather than all at the beginning and nothing at the end, okay? Now from here, the last part of it is I step back with my left toe, turning it inward a little bit, peeling the toe, go to the side, and drag the toe inward. Okay, now I know that we could get more technical. We could do a heel pull. But most of your students, if they're doing bronze, are going to be very beginner. So I just say step back to the side, drag the toe. If you want to get super technical with your students, you can do a heel pull, and that's okay too. That's impressive, but it's up to you whether you want to do that or not. Okay, but still only go to the diagonal. All right, let's dance the entire part of the men's choreography from the beginning and see if you can remember. Now ask questions because you might have a lot of questions. So here we go. Without the prep step, we have forward, side, close our feet, stepping back, face diagonal center, close change with the right foot, forward, now progressive chassé. We have forward, chassé, side stepping back into promenade position, turning to the left, so your left shoulder is going back. Chassé from promenade position, and then a natural hesitation, or a hesitation change is what we call it. Back and side, drag the toe. So my back is to the corner of the room. And now my alignments are all going to change because now I'm heading into the short side. So here's where you would drill them on this. Face the line of dance. This would be the new line of dance. Face center. Face the wall, right? Because we're over here on this side of the floor. So shift them over on that side and then have them go realize that the alignments are all changing because we're on a new side of the floor. Make sense? Okay, now I wouldn't go that fast with a normal class because they need time to process. I would probably do the natural turn and the closed change, natural turn, closed change for men and ladies, and then I would put them together as a partnership and see if they can do that much. Then we would add the next step and put them together as a partner, right? And I would add it as we go. I wouldn't do the entire full side and then expect them to remember it all, but it's nice to separate them and have them dance it. Even at like the beginning of a class, have them dance their whole side all by themselves, ladies and men, and then come back and dance it together again as you're drilling it, okay? All right, moving on to the ladies' part of this side, okay? So ladies are, I would say, are backing diagonal wall. And I would say backing because that's the direction we're going to be headed. You could say she's facing diagonal center against line of dance, but I'm not going that way, okay? So I'm heading this direction. So ladies' left foot should be free. I step back on my left. I point my toe to the line of dance. Now, there's a diagonal line here between my feet. Okay, so I don't want to be here. That's not a diagonal line. So a diagonal line, and then I close my left toe to my right toe, and I lower down. Yes? Now, I have to open the door. If I step back and I point my toe, I haven't opened the door. So I go back, and I point my toe, and I've opened the door. The man now comes through, and I close my feet and lower, and we're facing line of dance. Now, I step forward with my right foot, in line with my partner. I step side, and then when I close my feet, I finish the turn. Come on through. Finish the turn to the diagonal so that we're now facing diagonal wall against line of dance. Yeah? Make sense? Okay? From here, I'm going to step back on my left foot for the close change. Back, peel the toe, side and slightly back, close my feet together. That's a close change. Okay, so close changes don't change direction, right? They switch feet. A close change is about switching feet. Okay? And we're going to do the progressive chasse. Again, I would go slowly through this and drill it many times with my students. But I'm stepping back with my right. I'm going to go side together, side, and I'm facing kind of diagonal wall. Okay? Now, here's the outside change. I'm going to step across myself and go on the same board. So you can see I've got a very narrow base. Then I'm going to change to promenade position as I step forward and then side in promenade. Okay? All right, let's go back and do the ladies' whole piece really quick. One more time. All the way up to that point. Okay, ready? Left foot goes back. We have back, point to the line of dance, close your feet together. Step forward with the right, step side and close your feet and end facing the diagonal. Now step back with the left, peel the toe, side, close my feet, and progressive chasse, back, side together, side, stepping forward, outside partner, forward, and promenade. Now we're going to do a chasse with the left foot. We step across ourselves, we go side, close, side and slightly back, and now I'm backing diagonal wall. From here we do the natural. Heel step outside of me, I go back, I point to the diagonal and close my feet rather than going all the way to line of dance. And I have to step forward with my right foot, a big side step, and drag the toe inward. And then I finished the lady's feet for the long side. Okay, now there's some concepts that you've got to teach along the way. So before you get all the way down the floor, one of the concepts you need to teach is inside and outside of turn. Okay? Because waltz is all about turning right and turning left. And if they don't understand how to turn as a couple, they're going to find themselves on the wrong side of their partner's body. Does that make sense? Which is very, very strange. So as we dance this together, come here for a second, Kristen. Let me just use you for a second. I'm going to be a guide. Okay? So as I do this very first piece, the thing I have to remember is this. If I'm going forward, my side step is going to be larger. If I'm going back, that's you, my side step has to be smaller. Otherwise, we're going to change sides. So as I go forward, I've got to go bigger and close my feet. And she's going to go smaller. Now she has to go bigger. She has to go bigger, and then we close our feet again. Okay, so let's say I didn't remember that concept and I went very, very small. I went very, very big and she went small. 1, 2, you notice that somehow we got on the wrong side of each other's body because we didn't remember the rule. If I'm going forward, I've got to go bigger side step. If I'm going backward, I've got to go smaller side step so that we remain in position with our partner, right? Right sides to right sides. So that's going to be important all the way through. And if you notice them switching, you're going to have to go back and review the concept and help them with it. So what I'd like to do now is have you guys dance together as partners. If you would, come on out and let's dance together. So do you want to dance here and I can dance here for right now? Okay. Now, I'm the guy and you'll be the girl this first time, but then you'll switch and be opposite, okay? So from here, we know that oftentimes we do a prep step, right? Where we just shift our weight to the side and we shift our weight back and then we take a step. That gets us on the correct foot. So now the guys have the right foot ready to go. The girls have the left foot ready to go. And here we go into the first step. So we're going to go 1, 2, stop on 3. Okay? We're all facing the correct directions. Good. Ladies stepping in line. 1, 2, stop on 3. We check ourselves. Is everybody there? Good. Now the closed change. Men's right, ladies left. Go. 1, 2, 3. There's no turn on that step. Now we do the progressive chassé. Go. 1, chassé, step. On the next part, this is where you're going to be teaching outside partner. They haven't had to do that yet, right? They're going to step outside partner, and the lady goes outside of his leg. 1, 2, then we go to promenade position. And we're all going that direction, so we're all looking towards the corner, right? We step through together and dance a chassé. 1, 2, and 3, and the ladies will close up at the end of that, right? And then now the guys are going to step outside partner for the natural. Go. 1, 2, and the hesitation. Step in line to the side, and we stay low on that one, okay? Now there's so many elements, there's so many pieces to the puzzle. We know we have to teach alignments. We know we have to teach their foot position. We know we have to teach rise and fall. We've got to teach footwork, right? We've got to teach inside and outside of turn, outside partner. There's so many pieces to the puzzle. You're going to have to decide what's important to share and when it's important to share. Otherwise, you're fire hosing them, and they're just like, can't process all this information, right? So be thinking about it. I'm giving you a paper that kind of says the order that I normally teach it in, the different elements and how I do it. Let me hand that out to you as well. Lexi, I didn't give you anything, did I? What the heck? Wasn't trying to be rude, promise.
No, not at all.
You're hanging in there. We love it. You're so good. You're so good.
We're good.
Okay, so this basically just talks a little bit about step processes. Now you may know your students and they may need a different process, right? And that's okay, because they may have already had previous experience or whatever it is. So you can choose if you want to change the order of how you present it. But you notice just the first part, teach the alignments, teach the 6-count box, teach the position for the natural turn, the closed change, then on their own, right, men's, ladies part, then put them together, check to make sure their alignments are correct, then you can go on and add the next steps, right? Now, one thing I want to say about outside partner position. So if I'm not careful, or if I don't understand CBM and CBMP, outside partner positions will be difficult, won't they? Because that's what you have to use. So let's review what those two things mean, CBM and CBMP. So CBM means what? Contra body movement, okay? And what it means, it's a rotation of the body, right? So my left side is coming towards my opposite foot. Contra meaning opposite, right? Okay, so I'm using the opposite foot, opposite side, but it's about my body coming forward. We often say left side positive, and that's the same type of a thing, right? Okay, now CBMP is what? Contra body movement position. A position of what? Of the feet. A position of the feet. Okay? So this has got a big board, and I can pretend like this is a balance beam. It means to take that foot on or across the line of the other foot. This is not CBMP. There's two separate tracks. No CBMP going on. Now I've got CBMP. Why? Because my base is very, very narrow. So if I have a narrow base, and I take my body towards my partner, I can maintain dance position, okay? Can I use you for a second? So if I took dance position here, and if I didn't use CBMP, I'm like, oh, I gotta step outside partner. Okay, I'm good, got my space, right? And you notice that everything is collapsed on top, right? I'm doing chin-ups on my partner's arm, it never looks pretty, right? So if I have a narrow base, and you go ahead and step behind with your left foot, step behind, Now she has a narrow base, now we can have body connection, okay? Because we're close to each other. If we're not, it takes us apart, right? So we're close with a narrow base. Now we turn our frame, and now I can stay connected through my body, and my frame doesn't collapse. That's important. So whenever we're stepping outside partner, I've got to have a positive side and a narrow base. So my feet have got to be on the same line as the other foot, and my left side's got to be positive, and then we'll have a beautiful position. So be careful that your partners don't like slide away from each other or, get hips right down the line. It's gonna look a little scary. So work on CBM and CBMP, okay? All right, now let's do the short side very, very quickly. We are like almost out of time for the waltz. So the short side, here we go. I'll be the guy, and I'll be in front of you guys. So we've just done our hesitation, and remember, hesitation, and every step that we've done, we've had rise and fall, right? Except for in the hesitation, I've gone 1, rise, stay down, stay down, stay down. No rise on the last 3 steps, okay? Now, a reverse turn. It's kind of like a natural turn, but it goes the other way, right? So I go forward, I go side, close my feet, and I'm facing against line of dance, and this would be, we're kind of all in the middle of the floor, but that would be against line of dance. I step back, turning my toe inward, point the other toe to the diagonal, and close my feet to it. So it's got the same concept as a natural, but it's just turning to the left with the left foot. Now from here, I'm going to do a whisk, okay? So if I'm doing the man's part of a whisk, I'm going to do forward, I'm going to go diagonally forward, rotate and step underneath myself. I want my feet parallel. So this is not good because my knees are going away. So when I step underneath myself, I want both my feet facing diagonal wall, parallel to each other, and my frame should be towards the wall, like flat towards the wall. There's my frame. So not here, there. So it's very twisted, like a rag, kind of twisted rag, okay? Yeah, so I've got my reverse turn, and then I've got my whisk. Now from here, I'm going to do another chassé from promenade. This moves me down the floor. Forward, chassé, step, right? Okay, remember heel, toe, 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 heel. Now, we've moved down the floor. We're hopefully, we've got down our short side. And we're going to do a natural spin turn. This is the tricky step, and that's the reason why it's at the end of the routine, is so that you can develop the other skills before you get to this step. Natural spin turn, but it's in a corner. So because I said corner, what do I want to do with the natural? I only want to go to the diagonal, okay? Now, here's our pivoting action. Try to get to where's a good place. So from this part, I'm going to step back on my toe. I'm going to pivot a half of a turn. I'm going to go heel rise, come out, and I'm going to go facing the corner, okay? So my alignments, I did a half of a turn on my pivot. I'm going to do a quarter of a turn on the second part. Now, 4 through 6 of a reverse means backside close. Back, side close to face diagonal wall, and a close change with your left foot, close change, and now guess what? I'm ready to start the routine over from the top. I get to start with my natural turn with my right foot, okay? So you can see it takes us a little bit down the floor, a little bit, so you can start a little bit down the floor, not too far, but a little bit, right? That will help you get to the end of the floor. So that's our short side. Let's do the men's part one more time. I know I'm just fire hosing you, but here's the deal. You get to go back and watch the video, which will be helpful. You get to read the order, and you get to call me and say, Elaine, I got questions. Okay, here we go. Starting with, let's do the hesitation first. I know it's the last step of the long side. Forward, side, close, and we go back, no rise, left foot goes forward. Forward, face against line of dance. Back, face diagonal wall, whisk. Forward, make sure my feet are parallel, turn my frame. Let me see your frames, flat to the wall. If you plastered your arms against the wall, you're flat. Chassé, I go 1, 2, and 3. Now my arms are coming a little bit more in front of me, but not all the way, because I still have to have a left side positive, because I'm gonna step where? Outside partner. So step forward into the natural, forward, side close my feet to the diagonal, pivot on the toe with the heel close to the floor, then heel rise, come out, stepping back with the right foot, side close my feet, and another close change forward, side close my feet. Okay, you've got the men's part. We got to do the ladies' part in 3 minutes. Let's see if we can make it happen. Okay, so let's say we're already in the hesitation for the ladies. She's going to go back on her right foot. Back, point it to the line of dance, close the right foot to the left foot. Step forward with the right heel, or left heel, sorry, side, and close my toes, and I'm facing the diagonal. Now, here's the crazy part for the lady. I step back, peel my toe, turn my toe towards the other foot, so it's turned inward, because I want to put it in its final destination. I go up onto that toe, place the right foot behind it in parallel position, and lower down. So I, again, don't want my feet turned out. I want them parallel, as if I were skiing down the mountain with my feet crossed, right? And just the toe is in contact. So the back heel is all the way down. Now, and my frame is going to be towards center, right? And my head's going to be stretched out to the right. From here, I step forward with the heel and do a chassé, closing up. Forward, close to partner, and step back. So now I'm going back into the corner with my left foot. Back, point to the diagonal, close my feet. In the spin turn, the ladies must brush their feet, so watch. I step forward, I come around the man, I brush, and step forward out of that step. Okay, so here we go. Forward with the right, come around side brush, step forward, and step forward towards diagonal center of the long side. Now step forward with the left foot, close the feet, that's 1/4 turn, and then step back, no more turn, to start again from there. Now it can be disorienting, and you might have felt you were disoriented tonight, okay, because I'm going through quickly, just kind of like a review is what I'm doing. It's not the way I would teach it to a group of students by any means. I would take time to build it so they're confident and they feel like, that makes sense, that's my checkpoint, got it, we did it, we accomplished it, right? Try not to do it all in one class period if you can help it, but you can ask questions. Does anybody have questions? Uh-huh. I'm going to step forward with my left foot. I'm going to go forward a little bit more as I'm going forward and turning her and then stepping back. So it's a little bit forward. So instead of going forward, back, I'm going to go forward, slightly forward, and rotate her. Okay? So watch us do it. So we have left foot forward, 1, 2, 3. And I've got to make sure that I go behind the man. So if I have the lady up here, we're in trouble. She's preceding the man. So I've got to be behind him. Then we shall say together, 1, 2, and 3. And then he's going to step outside of me, right into the spin turn. And you know what? We'll back up just a little bit. We're a little bit tight there. Let's go ahead and do the natural spin turn together. So we have 1, 2, 3, pivot, 2. I brush, and then I come out. And then we do a closed change, and we're starting over from there. Okay, makes sense? Okay, I would love to try all of it, but I don't want to leave the other dances hanging. So if we can, we'll come back at the end to dance it together. Hopefully you've got a little bit of information as far as a walkthrough for the international bronze level waltz, and we'll leave it there for right now.